Oh, slight delay. Excellent. Hmm. There we go. Hmm. Better. Hello? Who's out there? Okay, so this is a test of the camera system and seeing how well this works for the virtual star party. I'm going to try to do it on Friday. Please let me know if there are any issues with audio or video, if it's really choppy. For some reason, the moon is actually kind of a bit choppy right now. I think part of it is air currents. The moon is still fairly low in the sky. It's pretty hot. The telescope is still cooling off. But at least something's working, so there's that. I think I need a second monitor. Oh, there. Now there's audio, huh? Guess I was talking for nothing. All right, cool. So got Jupiter on here. These are the Galilean moons, and I'm going to bring the gain. See, let's drop the exposure down so we can see some detail in Jupiter. Yeah, there we go. So this telescope is not really meant for photographic, but we can at least see Jupiter. You can see the banding. It's got significant banding on it. But at this exposure, I don't have any moons. So what I have to do, bring up the gain a bit, or lengthen out the exposure. Now I can pick out the 4 Galilean moons. So which ones are these? Um, Typically, the closest one is going to be Io. The furthest one out is usually Ganymede, I think. Let's find out. So if I go ahead and check out my handy dandy star chart. So I'm going to take a quick look at Jupiter. Okay, so well, um, now there's Jupiter. Okay, so for tonight, we're looking at, yeah, I was right. Oh, except, okay, I was a little bit wrong. Okay, so we have from left to right, we have Europa right here. Then is Io. Again, Io is usually the closest one in. Then we have big bright Jupiter. And then over here we have Ganymede and Callisto. So Ganymede is big and bright. You can tell it's actually brighter than any of the other ones. And that's just because of its size. Io is the closest one in. So Io has active sulfur volcanism, and Europa is a target for a probe that will drill underneath the ice and look for life. So that's actually kind of cool. Let me play with focus just a tad. I don't think it's going to be much better. Again, this telescope is not really meant for photography. It really is a visual instrument, so kind of not doing what it should be doing, but that's quite all right. This is a test. So I'm going to get this thing down just a bit more. We can see some detail on Jupiter again. Yeah. So, uh-oh. Oh, a bit low, that's why. So it's coming down again. Okay. So audio is, Ed just says that the audio is good. Hey, Jed, can you see a chat anywhere? Is there a chat that you can click onto? It's supposed to be the Google Hangouts thing. I don't know how well that's working. So if you don't see a chat, that's absolutely fine. Um, I don't think it's necessary, but okay. I guess you can't see because there are no viewers. All right. No worries then. Okay. Cool. At least you can hear me. I said no viewers, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Let's get Jupiter back up. Oops. So now we can see Jupiter, and that looks okay. Jupiter is actually about to go over the roof, so it ain't gonna look too good. Um, I'm going to try something else. Let's go ahead and look at Saturn. So go tape. Just so we can see what's going on. It's a bit loud. this telescope does actually let me control it from the computer, but I don't have a setup to do that very well right now, so that's just not going to happen. Let's go ahead and see what I can see. I don't see Saturn anywhere. All right, so let's do. Nope. 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 There we go. And we have Saturn and we have Titan. Cool. Okay. So remember, this is all about the gain. So we're going to go zoom in again. You can see the rings. Let's see if we can get like the Cassini division in here. There we go. No, I can't make out the Cassini division, but we can do something kind of cool. So this is Saturn, and let's turn the gain way up because I want to find moons of Saturn. Check it out. So this is definitely Titan up here. Titan's the biggest moon of Saturn, so we can see it there. And let's see, Saturn. I'm bringing up a star chart application of mine, so we're looking at, yeah, that is Titan. Okay, so we have Titan over here. That is pretty damn slick right here. I got Titan. Then over here we have Rhea. Let's see. Tethys is right over here. It kind of pops in and out. Let's see if I can make it pop out a little bit more. I don't know if I can see it. It's like right here. Kind of. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. But this is definitely Mimas. We have Enceladus right here and Dion right here. So that's actually not bad. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 moons of Saturn. Then we have Hyperion. That's a dead pixel. That's not Hyperion. Hyperion should be. Oh, Hyperion is somewhere out here. May not be able to see it. Let's get 2-second exposure. Oh, here we go. Here's Tethys. There's Tethys right there. And Hyperion is right there. There's Hyperion. Okay, sweet. So we have Hyperion out here. We have Tethys over here. Mimas, Enceladus, Dion, Rhea, and Titan. That's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 moons of Saturn. That is not bad. Okay, so this is with a just over 1-second exposure. And that's what it's going to take. So we knock it back down. Now we can see the rings of Saturn. So I'm going to get this on more on the center of the chip. It's a bit easier to see. If we have more time. Let's go find it again. It's not center of chip, but that's fine. So let's get 200%. See what it looks like. All right. So the gap that appears here every once in a while, this is the Cassini division. See that little black kind of gap between the rings? Actually, no, wait, sorry. Cassini division's inside, isn't it? Cassini division's on the inside. This is another break. But it comes and it goes, and you can see that it's the seeing that's changing. It's hot air, it's air currents. Um, it's just not very um, it's just not very stable atmosphere right now. So I'm going to play with the focus just a tad. what I can do. Is it better like this or like this? Actually, that's a little bit better. You can see the, oh wow, you can see the little bit of separation out there. That's not bad at all. Is that a little bit worse? A little bit better. I think you can barely make a little bit of banding across the middle right there. Yeah, a little bit better. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. The scope's not a photographic scope, it's just visual. Not horrible. Okay. It's not too horrible. Okay. Looking back, we have Mars. Okay, let's do this. 66%. Okay, so this is top. That's fine. Let's do this. Let's figure out where Mars is. Okay. Mars is somewhere over here. Let's find it. I'm going to go over to the Finder and see if I can. Okay, that would be me. Send this thing out. Okay. So let's slow it down, or sorry, speed up. Camera. Okay. Here we are. And there is Mars. And that's all I got. Mars is really low to the horizon right now. The viewing is not a good night anyway. I don't think I'm going to pull out much detail yet for probably another hour to 2 hours. Yeah, this is barely popped above the tree line, so it's quite low to the horizon. And there is also a huge dust storm going on right now, so it may be obscuring some of the features. Every once in a while, Mars has during the Martian summer, it has these large dust storms which cover most of the surface. So features get obscured. Basically, all we see is a haze across everything. I think you can see a little bit of something coming out. So there appears to be a little darker area here. It's really hard to tell. Hi. Ania teraz napisała, że teściowa moja ogląda. Okay. Bardzo nie widać coś, bo teraz burza jest na Marsie. Taki zakurzona jest. Mało teraz widać też, że jest tak nisko do, do horyzontu, że nic nie widać. To poczekać jeszcze parę godzin, będzie lepiej. Hmm. Yeah, not good focus. Not good focus. Okay. Alright. Zobaczymy księżyca. Księżyc będzie troszkę lepszy. Okay. Okay. Edge was asking about chat. I see no chat. So I don't know if there's a YouTube chat or what. No idea. Okay. Bo Edge jest teraz w North Carolina. To ogląda teraz na telefonie chyba. Edzio tam, moja teściowa jest tam na YouTube, teraz też ogląda z Polski. Fajnie, nie? Okej. Okay. Yeah. There's Tycho crater. So I'm going to play with this a bit more. On brightness. Flats. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, it's not going to work. Okay. So live stacking for this will not work. Yeah, I'm still trying to play with the settings, so I don't know what I want to do yet. No reticles, fine. Okay, so looking at the histogram, what I want to see is, let's see where we go. Okay, you know what? This one, I'm not exactly sure what this histogram does, but that's fine. With a logarithmic chart. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm more used to. Okay, so this is saturation of pixels. What that means is how much light is actually hitting the pixels. Like this is basically an average of all the pixels on the chip and how much is hitting it at any point. So what you don't want um, is actually what you do want is down here and all the way out to 100%. This isn't too bad, but if there's no data up here, I'm missing data. If there's no data down here, I'm kind of missing data. So you want to stretch this thing out so it's a little bit. I do it this way, it stretches out towards black. I do it this way, it stretches, everything is white. This is called clipping when it bumps up against either white or against black, and you don't want that. Luckily, I think I have an auto set on here. Yeah, the auto gain is on, so it's trying to get everything kind of in the middle. I'd rather it be more stretched out, but I think it's a limitation of the chip and because it's the moon. If I'm targeting something else like a nebula, then it'll look totally different. The moon is just so blown out and bright. So let's go back down to 50% so you can see more of it. It's just very, very bright. And you have little bright craters everywhere. I don't think the focus on here is very good. Again, I don't think it's well aligned. I don't think the focuser is well aligned for photographic work. The motors definitely aren't. So it is what it is. And Jupiter is, yeah, Jupiter's pretty much behind the roof line right now. So uh, what else can we look at? How about a star? There's Antares. Let's see, Antares. Bad. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to do another test. So this is going to be Antares. Get to it. What is that cluster? I'm thinking about a cluster right now. So I'm thinking about, I think it's called M3. There's a little bitty cluster, little globular right near Antares. Trying to look on my phone for it, so it's a little bit boring. I think we can do it this way. Let's see exactly where it is. There we go. So what I want is Antares. Antares is the blood red heart of Scorpio. Okay. So let's do labels, and we'll do constellations. View, I want to see constellations. Let's do labels, illustrations, asterisms. Yeah. View. And let's see if I zoom out. What do I got? Oh, fish oak, the teapot. So this is Sagittarius. Here we're looking towards the center of the galaxy. Actually, right here. This whole thing here. But what I want is labels, boundary, illustrations. There we go. So here is Scorpio. Here is Antares. What I want is a little bitty nebula nearby. Oh, here we go. Not nebula, cluster. View. I'm going to pull off the illustrations. I want this. That right there. Let's see if we can pull that up. So I'm going to find the star Antares, or better yet, I'll just do this. What is this? M4, cat's eye. I've heard it called M4 before, but that's okay. Enter 4, enter. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Camera. All right, so I'm getting nothing. Let's get 2-second exposure because I want to start looking for stuff. There we go. There we go. Yeah. I'm going to be looking. I'm not sure what that is. That is not M4. That is a nifty little cluster. This is like a little open cluster. And because we're looking at the center of the galaxy, we're going to have a lot of little clusters there. So, yeah. I'm going to see if I can do a live stack. Let's see what we can do. Resume. Okay, let's kill that. And I want to clear, resume. I want to see what we can pull out of this. No alignment found, huh? Yeah, it's having a hard time doing the alignment because the scope is moving pretty badly. So I'm going to do clear, try this again. I don't know why it's not like that. Line frames, line using. Let's just do 5 stars. Clear. Try it again. 10 stars is minimal. Okay. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Pausing. Let's find. So it's just ignoring all the frames. It's not even seeing them. Okay, that's fine. We're going to cancel the live stacking. Forget that. There. I'm just going to go back to this. There. Turn that off. So what live stacking does is it lets me take multiple images and it will stack them up together, one on top of the other, in order to get a better image out of it. And it would work if I had a better mount. But this telescope is not good. So I'm going to set a 3.3 second exposure. So every 3.3 seconds, it will just add up the pixels from before. So this is a nice little open cluster. Not really what I was looking for, but it's not bad. But you can see all the stretching, all the streaks. Every once in a while, it's not bad for a couple seconds, and then you have one like that, which doesn't look good, and kind of just ruins the effect. So this is a little open cluster. Let's see what it's called. Let's see. Looking at Antares, the Antares region. Oh, this would be Colander 302. That's what you kind of need. Yeah, it's a little, I think that's what it is. It's in the right position. Yeah. This is not the globular I wanted. I don't think it's the globular I wanted. No. Yeah. So this is just a little open cluster. Still pretty. Do a little bit longer in exposure. Let's do LX mode. I'm just going to do, yeah, let's see what we can see in a 6 second exposure. It'll probably look bad, but that's okay. Yeah, everything's doubled up. Ish. Yeah, this is too much. See, that image isn't too bad, but you can see there's light pollution, all this gray area right here. That's not good. And if you look at the histogram, we have right up here bumping up against this. This is white. So if this is clipping against here, that means that these stars here are overexposed, which for a star, it's not really a bad deal. If there was a nebula here and a large patch of the nebula was overexposed, that would be bad. That would be basically missing data. And we don't like missing data. This nice over here tells you how long the frame has been going. All right, I'm going to expand this out to for 13 seconds, kick some grins and see what it looks like. It'll probably be nasty because of the mount, but that's okay. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. One more, and we'll drop it back down. Yeah, let's drop it back down. Seconds, yeah. All right, so this is this open cluster. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back and let's drop this down to 40% because I want to see the whole thing right now. And I'm going to move the telescope. This is right. I need to move it down. Let's see if we can find Antares. If I find Antares, I can figure out the rest of it. So I need to move it down and to the left. Down to the left. Left. A little bit more. I'm going to get up and I'm going to see where I am. Oops, that was me. Okay, I'm in the general area. Not quite where I want to be. Let's keep moving left. A little bit down. It's really, really hard to find what I'm looking for with this telescope. This is it's a Dobsonian telescope. It's a alt-az mount, means it moves up, it moves down, and that's all it does. And I guess moves all around. Um, but it's not really set up for photographic work at all. This is really a visual only scope. It has a motor on it. This is what I'm using to move it around with. But the motor is meant for visual use. It is not meant for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that, and I don't think I have this aligned too well. Not really the way I want it. So it's hard to really do much with it. Let me go back to the scope and see if I can find at least Antares. Okay, here is Antares. Antares is big. Antares is bright. Antares is this is a red supergiant, I believe. Um, it's a big bright scope. Oh, sorry about that. That's me shining the light directly to the telescope tube. So we have Antares, and we're going to test something. So I'm going to move it in this direction. I'm going to do that. That's not good. So move it that way. So I need to rotate this about 45 degrees. I'm moving the camera. I'm hoping this will be better. Okay, what I just did is move the camera um, so that now if I move it left, oh yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Good, good, good. Okay, so right now I have this line, so if I move it up, Aries goes down. That's not good. This down, Aries goes up. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm playing with the connection with the handset, and now I'm going to come in and I gotta do a reversal. So where is my reversal? More controls. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't need this. What I need is, I don't know where it is. So what I'm looking for is a way to flip the image. I want to be able to come in and flip it upside down. So let's see, where could this possibly be? It is somewhere here. I just don't remember where. Binning, there's a rotate. I just don't remember where it is. No, no. No, flip, there we go. Flip, so I need vertical flip. Okay, so with the vertical flip, if I move it down, Antares should move down. If I move it up, Antares should move up. Okay, so this is a 3-second exposure. And then if I move it to the right, let's center it out a bit. Left. There. Okay, it's left, so I need to flip both. Yeah, it's a Dobsonian. Okay, so a couple things on this image. I'm going to slow this way down because Antares is big and it's bright. Let's get it way down. There we go. A little bit brighter than that. Okay. second, milliseconds, for milliseconds, even brighter than that. Let's get away up there. I want you to see spikes again. That's a second. Okay. These spikes here that are coming out, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are called diffraction spikes, and these are actually caused by the vanes of the spider. So in front of the telescope, there is a secondary mirror, and that mirror is supported by 4 very thin pieces of flat metal, and that's called the spider. Well, it causes a diffraction effect. So what's actually happening is the photons are kind of being split along every one of those vanes, and they're forced to go out. So instead of being a perfect point, as it would normally be on a parabola from parabolic mirror, you have these spikes that come out. So this is actually a quantum mechanical effect that you're seeing um, live. So this is actually quantum mechanics in action. Classical optics cannot account for diffraction spikes. So that's actually kind of cool. So this is a longer exposure. This is roughly 2/3 of a second. So this is Antares. And I'm going to do this. We're going to make this longer. Longer exposure because I'm going to start moving. I'm going to compare it to this. So I'm going to go push Antares slightly down. Okay. And I see those 2 stars. Let's see, where are they? 1, 2, this is a bright one. Okay, I know what I'm looking at now, I think. I think I do. So if I move it directly over, this is a bit of star hopping. No, no, no. Wrong direction. I want Antares to go in this direction. Ooh. No, that's actually not what I want. Now I know where I'm looking at. Okay, I gotta go in this direction. This is actually not flipped the right way. Hold on just a second. I have to do it this way. I have to do no flip. Now I'm seeing it. Okay, good, good, good. And now if I go up a little bit, oops, wrong direction again. Up a little bit. And I have 2 little stars over here. These are the 2 I am expecting to see. Okay, and now a little bit further in the opposite direction. Okay, that is actually pretty cool. So what I'm seeing right now, these 2 stars in Antares, if I look on here in Antares, this is Antares, and these 2 stars here. So we're just seeing this tiny little piece right here, and that open cluster that we were seeing was over here. I want to go to here. This is a bit of a star hop. Let's see if we can do it. It's the right direction. Right direction. Okay. I'm going to go shooting off a bit, and I'm going to go straight. A little bit down, apparently. Okay, I got those stars right there. Go a little bit further. I'm going to go down. And over. Okay, got 2 little bright ones. Where are they? One little bright one. Trying to figure out where I am. It's not easy. I have a very small field of view, and this go-to is not aligned as perfectly as I like, so it's not terribly accurate. If I can just get to the outer edges of the globular cluster, it should be pretty easy to spot. Just have to get to the outer edges. This is not it. I think maybe. Yeah, it's just hard to say. It's always hard to tell with this on exactly where you are when you have such a tiny field of view. And I can't say. I'm gonna go down a little bit. I think I've gone down as far as I need to, if not a little bit past. It's the boring part. Oh, that sucks. All right, I can do the other boring thing and pull out an eyepiece, stick it in there, and try to find it in the eyepiece. Let's see if I can do that. I'm going to step in. Where am I pointed at? I'm way off. I am so far off, it's not even funny. All right, let's do this. See if this was connected, if I had the cable to do this, and I simply don't. Where is it? I am. Actually, I may not be that far off. That may be. I may be right in the general area. Okay, hold on. Let's fix this. Oops. Okay, this should be closer. Maybe closer, but I don't know. It is so hard to do it with this kind of a camera and this kind of a telescope. Oops, that was me. Yeah. I'm gonna see how close this thing will get. Is this actually it? Let me double check. That's just me again. I have to walk in front of the telescope each time. So let's center this. No. I don't think this is it. I think it's too close. Because if I go over and then down, I should find Antares. Yeah, this is not. This is not fun. Try this once more. So we're going back up to Antares. Right about here somewhere. Yeah, I don't think this is a good thing at all. I can't even see Antares. Goes, okay. I'm gonna try something else. Let's send this. I'm gonna tell this somehow. Named star. Okay. I'm trying to fix this thing. Antares. I'm trying to find where it says it's Antares. Because I need to realign it. Antares. Enter. Enter. New object. Okay, so this says it's Antares. Okay. That's not too bad then. So apparently we're looking at M4 the whole time. Okay. Let's find something else then. So I guess that was M4. That was a little globular, but didn't look like what I've always remembered it to look like. So let's see once more with feeling. Objects. Oops. Escape. Areas. Antares. So we're going to go to measure catalogs. Objects. Back to Messier catalog. So Messier. Enter. I guess that is right. I guess that is Messier 4 right there. On the right location, so we just need longer exposure. 2 seconds, yeah. Okay, so I guess that is a little globular, just not very good on a night like this. This would be the core of the globular right there. Okay, so Messier. Um, Back in the 1700s, during the comet craze with Sir Edmund Hillary, we had people all over Europe looking for comets. That was the new it thing to look at. So everyone wanted a telescope. Everyone wanted to hunt for comets. And one of these guys was a Frenchman named Charles Messier. And Charles Messier only cared about comets. Well, that was it's kind of bad for him because he couldn't really find any often. But what he did find was a lot of objects that were fuzzy. And it really annoyed him enough that he wrote a catalog of 110 objects which appeared fuzzy in his telescopes um, as a warning to other comet hunters to ignore these things because they're just not comets. People would find the same fuzzies that everyone else found and get really excited. It's a comet, it's a comet, it's fuzzy just like a comet. Well, it's not, it's a nebula or it's a galaxy. But they didn't know back then. They didn't really know what it was. And Charles Messier didn't care about what it was. All he cared about was that it was not a comet. So he cataloged these 110 objects and sent his catalog out to fellow comet hunters and said, please ignore these things. Well, those just happen to be 100 something of the brightest, most obvious stuff in the northern skies. Um, and they include things like library clusters of nebula, galaxies, um, double stars. I think there's one double star in there. So he picked out a bunch of really, really interesting objects. So let's say one of them was a galaxy. Actually, there are lots of galaxies. So let's say M31, the Andromeda Galaxy. He saw this big fuzzy thing in his eyepiece. Was not sure what it was, but it was in the same place every single night. And so it wasn't a comet. He was looking for motion. He wanted to see a fuzzy that changed against the background of the stars. So if he saw, let's say, here's the background he was looking through his telescope. If he saw something fuzzy right in this area and he came back the next night and it was over here, and the third night it was over here, he'd know it was moving against the background of the stars, and that if it was fuzzy, it was probably a comet. Instead, he just saw fuzzies that didn't move. So we're pretty thankful for that because now we can actually use that catalog and see some really neat stuff in the sky. So let's find something else to look at since we're fairly decently aligned. Go. So let's see what we can look at. Our problem here is that it's pretty. Oh, here we go. Let's look at the lagoon. Okay, so Lagoon Nebula. Um, we have a lot of light pollution here in Dallas Fort Worth, and so we really can't see a whole lot. With darker skies would be a whole lot better, but we'll take what we can get. So here is my Sagittarii. That's not really what I'm looking for. I want Lagoon. Lagoon Nebula, M8. This is what I want. So I'm going to go back, Messier 8 to. So the telescope is slewing over to look at M8. And what's kind of neat about it is that if I had the cable to do this, I could connect the telescope to the computer, and then I'd have a little cross here that would tell me exactly what the telescope is pointed at. This is it right here. This is the Lagoon Nebula, which is incredibly unimpressive, isn't it? So I'm going to move it this direction. No, wrong direction. There we go. So really, really unimpressive. But you can get little hints of nebulosity here. See, there's a little bit, there's not much, but it's there. So that's what we're looking for, is that nebulosity. And this whole thing, this is the deepest part of nebula, but the nebulosity is all through here. But because I have such a short exposure of only 2 seconds, it's really hard to see. Let's double it up to 4. It looks like double the stars. Oh, that's not good. There we go. More nebulosity. You can see all this gray area here. Let's go again to 8 seconds. There we go. Oh, actually looks kind of decent right there. A little bit of nebulosity. 8-second exposure. There we go. Stars look totally horrible, but you can see that haze in the back. You can pull out a little bit more detail. Well, double the detail. Try to get one more image that's kind of halfway decent. Ugh. No, this is not going to work. Oh, this is not going to work. No. Looks like we have one jump at least every. Let's see if we can cut down and move 5 seconds. No. 4. 5 seconds. So, so the mount is making a jump somewhere. Um, it's not a good thing, but it is what it is. So what we're looking at here, you'll see this cluster of stars over there. Zoom back in. I have this right side up now. Let's grab it this way. Here we go. So the bright star that we're looking at and that fuzzy little nebulosity, that's just right here. That's all we're looking at. That cluster is over here. So you can get that looking nicer. That's the bright star. Here, 9 Sagittarii. Sagittarii. And then one more. Yeah. This cluster of stars over here. And one more iteration. This cluster of stars here is what we're seeing here. And sorry, this is just not a very good image here, but that's okay. That's quite all right. So this program is called Starry Night. I've been using this now for, oh, I can't even tell you how long it's been. Probably close to 18, 17 years, somewhere about there. Um, not, this is the latest version. This is Starry Night 7, I believe. Starry Night Pro Plus. Yeah, 7.6. So I really like this application, and when I do another test tomorrow and on Friday, we'll go and use this to control the telescopes. Oh, we have a Trifid up here, so let's go Trifid Nebula. So the Trifid Nebula is with Sagittarius. This is all in the Milky Way. We just can't see the Milky Way very well from here. So the Hippo, Sagittarius. So let me find it. So let's do Trifid. Trifid Nebula N20. Okay. So we'll go back 20. So this is very close to the lagoon. So you can pull out some nebulosity out of this one. There we go. So these stars right here, and the nebulosity is in between. So you have nebulosity here, nebulosity here. And what we're looking at, these two stars right there. So the blue is a reflection nebula. The red is a emission nebula. So what that means is the blue is just reflecting light from this bright star over here. So it's dust. It's not, it's, if there's gas, there's not a whole lot of it, but it's mostly dust in the area. And that dust is reflecting the light coming from the star. The gas here, now you can see a little bit of nebulosity, kind of hard to see, but it's there. There's a little bit of detail. You can see little darker patches like this here, which is the inside of the flower of the Trifid. Um, the red color comes from hydrogen gas. And what's going on is the hydrogen is being excited by ultraviolet radiation coming from the star, what is really that star there. Um, and what's happening is that gas is lighting up. It's just like it would be inside of a neon tube. It's just glowing hydrogen gas. Um, yeah, it's still doubled up. Here we go. Yeah, so these stars right here are lighting up the gas in this area. Again, I can't get a long enough exposure using this mount because it's not meant for photography. With my mount that I'll have set tomorrow, it'll look a lot better. It tracks a whole lot better. also have some ability to do use a guide scope, and the guide scope will let me track a whole lot better. Um, yeah, I'll be able to use it to lock onto a star, and I can take longer exposures and really show off a little bit more than I can right now. So let's find something easy. Let's see what is interesting. We have some open clusters, lots of open clusters, but these things are really hard to see. Little nebula like these, they're just really hard to see here in the city. I'm not really prepared for it. But I do see Mars is much higher in the sky. So let's go look at Mars on here. Maybe Mars will look better. There's the moon. Where's Mars? Mars. So there we go. This let's do center. There. This is the face that Mars should be presenting to us. That's kind of so we have the Tharsis Bulge. Here's Valles Marineris. Here are the three smaller volcanoes, and here is Olympus Mons. This is the largest volcano in the solar system. The top of this volcano actually pops a little bit out of the atmosphere. There we go. That's nice. That's quite nice. So, a couple of billion years ago, when there was a lot of volcanic activity on Mars, this was actually closer to the north, if I recall. Um, yeah, this was closer to the north. And what happened, excuse me, was there was so much basalt material pulled up from the mantle of Mars and uplifted this entire bulge that it actually caused Mars to change the way it rotates. So the axis of rotation slipped, and this went closer to the equator. And it's just like a ice dancer who's spinning around and takes her arm and throws it from up above out. It changes the way she spins. It changes the rotation speed. Um, yeah, it's moving the mass out that way changes your angular momentum. It's kind of neat, actually. So here's Valles Marineris. This is the largest canyon in the solar system. This is deeper and wider than the Grand Canyon. It's much longer. I think it would almost stretch the length of the United States, if I recall. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up again. And here we're looking at the South Pole. So we just found out today that it turns out that about a mile or so beneath the surface, there is a liquid lake of water, of salty, salty water. So more research needs to be done, but I believe that was found on what was it? A radar survey. So, all right, let's see if we can find planets. Planets. Enter. Enter. Oof, that's a pretty loud motor. All right, in 5 seconds, we'll knock that thing way down again. All right, alignment's not great. Okay. I want to get up and I'm going to see where Mars is. says it's close. All right, there we go. There is Mars. Let's see if we can get this down more, even more, even more. Okay, zoom this thing in. Yeah, this is not very well focused. It's hard to pull out detail. I think I can see darker area right here. That's really all I got. Let's speed it up just a bit. Or slow it down. Longer exposure. Yeah, I can see a darker patch in this area. I'm looking at the raw light, so well, let's do this. Do mono 16. Let's see what difference this makes. 16-bit, we have more data. I'm going to turn off the auto gain. I don't necessarily want to have auto gain. I'd rather have this. Yeah, too much. That's about good. Let's go to histogram. Let's see, make sure there's no clipping. Okay, that's only about halfway. If I boost it a little bit brighter. Nope, there we got clipping. You can see it's bumping right up against the white. So that means it's overexposed. We have no data. Am I getting it right up to it? Yeah, that's a bit more data right there. Okay, now you can see there's a brighter patch here in the middle. There's a darker patch below here. It's kind of all we got. This is a black and white camera. This is just monochrome. And the reason why I do that is because this is meant for astronomy. It's an astronomical camera, and it's meant more for nebula and doing really specific color photography. So I would have a red filter, a blue filter, a green filter, and then a luminescence filter to cut off infrared, and that would be it. And then I could combine those, make a full color image. So I'm not going to do that today or tomorrow or Friday. It's too much of a pain. But I may try a different camera that I have, see how that one works. I don't know how well it will work. I would have to test it. That one's it's 10 megapixel color. That one may be a little bit better. I don't know. I can always hook up the DSLR to it and use the movie mode to get a preview, but it may not be that good either. But this is definitely Mars. It's not out of focus. It's just I can't get a better image right now. This is as much focus as I can pull in with this, so I'll have to use a different telescope. Okay, I don't know who's watching. Hey, Joe, is that you? Or is that somebody else? Yeah. So it is now 11:37. It's getting late. I have to put up. Um, but at least I know roughly when I'll be able to do this for Mars. So I guess we're looking at starting about 10 p.m. Doing some other stuff on Friday, and then about 11:30 or so, midnight, past midnight, to go ahead and just show Mars. So I'm pretty sure that the image will be pretty decent. About 1 or 2 a.m. Yeah, about 1 or 2 a.m. is when it should get pretty decent. but it just depends on the telescope and the camera. So I'm going to have to play around with it tomorrow. Um, I'll go ahead and do another broadcast tomorrow. Just play around and see what it looks like. Okay. Yeah, so we can see dark area here on the bottom, brighter up here. I'm going to play with the focus just a tad and see. Cut this down. Maybe not. Center this off. So I'm play with focus just a tad. Works. Star. Give me a star, any star. No, I see no stars in the area. Now one. And it's unusable because of that length. Maybe. Okay, so what I want to do is use a star to focus on. If I can find a star. I found a star. Okay. To really get in there. These little points right there, that little point right there, those are hot pixels. It means it's just a bad pixel on the camera. 0.4 seconds. Okay. And what I'm going to do, watch that star as I change focus. Yep, that's too much. No direction. It's getting down. Just tiny little iterations. There we go. That's a better point. Uh-oh. Better. See if I can get a little bit better. So I can do this tool, and I want a focus assistant. No, no, I don't want that one. This is a tool for focusing, and I don't really want that one. Don't want the mask. Well, actually, that'd be pretty cool if I could have that mask. Three lines detective. Yeah, this is not it. I would have to have a mask on there. The Bantanov mask. It's a basically it's something that goes in front of your telescope, and it has a number of, uh, um, of slits in it, and the slits make a Y shape. That's the best way I can describe it. And what happens is on here, I will see on any bright star, I will see one vertical spike, diffraction spike, and then one in this direction and one in this direction. And what happens is when you rack it in and out of focus, the lines move back and forth. And what you want is it to be perfectly in focus. You have one line that goes in the center, one line that goes through the center at an angle, another line that goes through the center at an angle. But they all go through the same point, and it's symmetrical. And it's kind of hard to describe it, but once you see it, you know. that it is in focus. I don't think I'm getting better focus than this right now. So let's go ahead and look at Mars. Kill this down to let's get down to more of that. Let's see what it looks like. I'm just curious to see what Mars looks like now. Focus a little bit better. Something's over by my fence. I'm gonna go take a quick look. I'll be right back. Well, that was quite weird. I have no idea what those sounds are. It sounds kind of like it's wet, like dripping water. There's nothing I can see, nothing I can find. It is just weird. Okay, that's all I got. It's almost midnight. I have to go to work tomorrow. I'm tired to go charge up this battery. I have to break all this stuff down and put it away. Yeah, I think it's time to go to bed. So, good night, and I will test this again tomorrow. Night, sleep tight. We're done.